Hi guys! Today we're going to do a message from your future self, pick a pile reading. So you're just going to intuitively tune into which pile is for you. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. The timestamps are down below this video, so you can just go right to it. And you can intuitively pick one pile or two, whichever feels good to you. Alright, let's get started. Okay, pile number 1, this is your reading. So the first card is the 9 of Voices, which is the 9 of Swords, 2 of Inspiration, which is the 2 of Wands, 3 of Inspiration, the Moon, 4 of Materials, which is 4 of Pentacles, and then the 2 of Emotions. So as I dive into this reading, the first thing that I am drawn to is this middle card, and I'm drawn to this the black dominoes that are here and her kicking them over. So the first thing that I notice is that you have choices and you have different things that you can do. And then the next thing I want to do is move over into the first card, which is the, cannot pick this up, 9 of Voices. So the first thing that I'm feeling as I'm moving into this card is there's something that you don't want to hear, or you're not interested in hearing, or you're tired of hearing. So there's some sort of maybe things you've been thinking of over and over and over again. You don't want to think that anymore. You're tired of thinking that. You're kind of over it. The next thing that I see and that I notice is that her eyes are closed. So you don't want to look at this situation. You're over the situation. You're just like, you're frustrated. Okay. So the second card, as I tune into the 2 of Inspiration, what is coming to me is that you need to start to look outside of your circle and look outside of your box and look at different things and ways you can do things. So this telescope right here is telling me that you don't need to look beyond a little bit. You need to look like very far beyond whatever the thing is that is like frustrating you and annoying you at the moment. So taking a very long view is going to be the most useful for you in this situation. The third thing that's coming up with the 3 of Inspiration is when I feel into this card, you can tell I'm not used to wearing nails, can't you? So when I feel into this card, what I see here is all these different probability choices and all of like this, and this. Like if you knock one domino down, it knocks all the other dominoes down. And I'm almost feeling like a domino is each step. So I'm getting the feeling that you have been frustrated and annoyed at something for a very long time, and the reason why is you're not taking out a far enough view. And one of the ways that you can do that your future self is telling you can do that, is look at what the next step would be. Okay, so write out what the next step would be, and then the next step after that, and then the next step after that, and then the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that, just like these dominoes, okay? And write out the next step as far as you can see. Okay, so just be neutral whether you like the next step or don't like the next step or agree or don't agree. Write it down, look at it on paper, and start to be kind of more objective and open your eyes, open your ears, okay? And just be neutral. Give yourself 20, 30 minutes and just kind of write it out and decide, you know what, I'm going to give this situation 30 more minutes and I'm going to see what happens. So the next thing I'm being drawn to is the Moon. And I notice these two people are looking away. This one person is looking towards the Moon. So what I'm getting from this is that your higher self is like, hey, you need to look at what's going on in your emotional body. Like, look at it, right? And then the other part of you is like, no, we don't really want to look at it, right? We're just going to keep our eyes closed and our ears closed because we don't actually want to look at it. So what I'm getting from this is your higher self is like, yes, look at it and then actually map out each next step, and it's not going to be as scary as you think that it is. The next card I'm drawn to is the 4 of Materials, which is the 4 of Pentacles. So in this card, her eyes are closed, she's looking down. Notice that she has all these roses. So there's beauty all around her, right? It's literally right in front of her, but she's kind of like holding her heart and protecting her heart. So maybe the reason why you're being so not really wanting to look at this situation anymore, you're tired of thinking about it, you're really tired of dealing with it in general, is because you're trying to protect your heart and you're trying to protect your emotions. And the next card that is here is the 2 of Emotions, okay? So I feel like by looking at each next step and being neutral about it is going to help you move through the emotions, okay, that are a little bit deeper in your body, because you're just going to look at what's next and what's next and what's next and what's next in a very neutral way. That's going to allow you to not be so like, what's the word? Not grabby, contracty? So contracty, right? You don't need to protect your heart so much. You actually have a lot of abundance and a lot of beauty that is surrounding you. You actually do have, it just feels like abundance, prosperity, okay, is what I'm getting from the flowers. So it is literally right in front of you and you don't need to be contracty anymore. So let's move deeper into this Two of Emotions card. So the first thing that I noticed is these two people are looking at each other, okay? And honestly, they look like the same person. I don't know if the artist meant that, but what I'm getting is that they're the same person. So you need to look at yourself. Like, look deeper into the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings that are going on inside of you, okay? And the action step I'm feeling from your future self is what this card is recommending, of writing out this step, this step, this step, this step, this step, and what's next and what's next and what's next and what's next. That's going to diffuse a lot of the emotional stuckness by taking a long view. This card is about really going out further than you think you should go, because I'm getting the feeling that in your mind you've only gone out like a little bit, and then you're like, you don't go that far. Like, you only go a couple steps and you're just like circling and circling and circling. And this card's saying like, no, go out 87 steps, okay? Or like at least 15 steps. Like, go out and then look back at your current situation, and then you're gonna have this like new perspective and things are just gonna open up. And then I chose the blue sodalite for this for you, pile number 1, without knowing what the card said. And blue sodalite is all about the second chakra. It's about your voice activating, like, you know, what is in your throat, and really kind of expressing and bringing forth what is hidden or not seen, okay? Express it, write it out. Okay, so I have another card from the Oracle of the Fairies, and this card is Motivation. When spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been merely thinking about doing, then get busy and go do it. So I feel like by taking the intuitive insight from these tarot cards, it's going to allow you to feel like you can do it, you can move forward, you do know the next step, and it is going to liberate your expression, and so you're not going to be so contracty, so you'll actually be able to expand out and make a new decision, or at least at the very least see the situation differently. Right, and then I also pulled 2 cards for you from the Power of Surrender Oracle. And we have Surrender to Divine Timing and Surrender to Play. So it feels to me like this pushing energy and circling energy of not moving further. You're going to open up some space energetically when you follow the advice of this card and start to relax from being so contracted, okay, and actually look at yourself and look at what's underneath the surface. And then you're going to be more deeper in your body, and you're going to have more time and space to do things like play or surrender to divine timing, because you're not going to be trapped in your mind and trying to figure something out and feeling frustrated and then wanting to like binge watch Netflix and therefore get nothing done with your life. And I mean, there's a time and a place to binge watch Netflix, but it's not good if you're like using it to, you know, avoid your life. So taking the advice of these cards is going to allow you to get more into your body, do something relaxing, do something fun, and you realize like you don't have to work all the time to make something happen. If something isn't working, it's because you're not aligned, okay? So doing this is going to allow you to see a greater, deeper alignment, and then you're going to be able to relax and be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can go out and play. I'm going to allow myself to go out and play. I'm going to allow myself to surrender more to everything is flowing, everything is working. So this feels to me like working and flowing, and like the river is running and the water is moving and things are just naturally like moving along, which is a total different feeling from this stuck feeling and this contracty feeling of I don't know what to do, okay? So by taking the advice, it's going to allow this energy to start to move and move out, and then you'll probably feel more motivated to take steps. And then I also pulled a card from the Crystal Angels Oracle, and you have received Ametrine. So balancing masculine and feminine energies, allow your feminine side to creatively inspire you and your masculine side to give you confidence. So this feels to me like balance, bringing balance back into your life. So everything can't be about work. Everything can't be about struggle all of the time. And it might be really beneficial for you guys, instead of to put like this work struggle thing first all the time, maybe put play first for a while, or decide, you know what, I'm going to have 1 hour a day. It's going to be me time. It's going to be playtime. I'm going to do whatever I want time, and start to create more of a balance. Because the overall feeling of this reading is there's like so much struggle energy, because you're not actually getting into your emotions, and you're not actually looking at things objectively, like what can happen next and next and next and next and next. And therefore you're just like circling in your head, and you're not moving. And it's creating this huge imbalance in your life, because you probably feel too drained and too tired to go do fun stuff, right? Because you're putting the struggle and the strife first, when really if you just allowed your life to be more balanced by choosing to A, take the advice of the tarot cards, and B, bring in some more play, bring in some more magic into your life. What feels really good to you? Like, what do you really love? What is going to raise your energy? It's going to allow everything to work smoother and work faster, because what you receive isn't based on how much you struggle. Okay, so let's drop the struggle. That is the message for you, pile number 1. You need to drop the struggle. All right. Okay, so that is what your future self wants you to know right now. If y'all enjoyed this video and you have a friend who you think would love a pick a card video, please send them over here, because I think they would enjoy it. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. This is your reading from your future self. So we have Queen of Materials, Knight of Inspiration, 5 of Materials, Page of Emotion, 7 Inspiration, and the Empress. Alrighty, pile number 2. This reading is for you from your future self. So the first card that we have is going to be the Queen of Materials. And as I tap into this card and feel it, it feels like you are so with it, and you're so together, and you're always doing everything. It feels to me like you are extremely practical. You're always doing what needs to be done. You have a checklist, and it feels to me like you're putting everybody else's needs first. The next card I want to move into is the Knight of Inspiration. And this card, it feels like so much movement. It's almost dizzying for me. So you're always going here, and you're always going there, and then you're doing this thing for this person and that thing for that person. And I'm not feeling a lot of time for yourself, right? Like, you're so put together, it's to your detriment almost. The next card is the 5 of Materials, and in this card, which corresponds to the 5 of Pentacles, this girl is sitting alone here, and she's sitting right outside of this building that has the roses. So this building is representing prosperity. You know, it's warm in there, there's good lighting in there, and she's out here in the cold and in the dark. So what this feels like to me is that you are doing everything for everyone, and constantly going around and going and going and going and going and doing and doing and doing, out of a fear of not having enough, out of a fear of like stopping and standing still. You're almost afraid, like, if you like pause, or if you like don't do the stuff, and you like don't hold up the world, then you're going to be outside of all the abundance and the prosperity. You're going to be out in the cold. And this feels like a fear that is, it doesn't need to be true. It's this fear is driving you to do too much and hold up too much, and it's making you exhausted. Okay, next card is the Page of Emotions. This card, first thing, obviously, what do we notice here? The heart, right? So in this card, the heart is the center. There's all these rays coming out of it, right? The heart is the most important part. And with you going and going and doing and holding everything up all the time and being motivated by this fear, your heart is like taking a back seat, and it's making you feel alone, okay? It's making you feel like you have no help. Nobody is helping you, like nobody is assisting you in any sort of way, and probably nobody offers to help you either, because you're so good at holding it up for them, and you probably don't let them know that you need help, because you like keep a very stoic look. So it doesn't even occur to them to be like, hey, do you need something? Okay, because you're hiding it, because you're not putting your heart first, and you're probably partially ignoring that your heart needs more nourishment and more love as well, okay? So in this card, I notice she's pushing away the darkness. She's trying to stay in the light and she's trying to push away the darkness. So you're probably telling yourself that, you know, it's really good that you're doing this and it's good that you're working so hard because all these things are going to be achieved and yada, yada, yada. However, your heart over here is just dying. Like, it's just like not happy. So this card, Page of Emotions, is about bringing forth your creativity. So if we look in there, there's nature, there's sunlight, there's some trees. So this card is about creativity. It's about quirkiness. It's about what doesn't make sense. So a lot of times your heart will give you the idea to do something and it might just be random and weird. Like this girl is wearing like a dress with like an octopus situation. It just makes no sense. And creativity is like that. It just makes no sense. But when you feel these creative inspirations from your heart to like do something random and weird you don't normally do, you just shut it down. Okay. You shut it down and you go into your head and then you're just sad and then you wonder why you're constantly pushing away the darkness. And you're so, I was trying to think how to articulate this. You're in this mode so often of going and doing that you almost are afraid to tap into your heart and afraid to feel more deeper what your emotions and your needs are because you're afraid other people are not going to meet them. You're afraid that maybe you're going to be abandoned or people aren't going to want to be around you or want to help you or something, and that's not true. Like they will, if you tell them that you need assistance, they will help you, but you need to put your heart first. Other people will assist you in putting your heart first when you put your heart first, okay? Because the whole universe is a mirror, right? So by ignoring your heart's desires, other people will continue to ignore your heart as well. When you put your heart energy first and start to nourish and water your heart energy, then everybody around you will then nourish your heart energy as well. And the fear will continue to tell you differently. The fear will continue to tell you, oh, don't put your heart first. You'll be abandoned. Don't put your heart first. Nobody's going to help you. And that's not true. When you truly, deeply choose to put your heart first, your creativity first, what you really love doing, then other people will respond in kind, but you have to go first because that's how the universe works. You go first and then the universe reflects it back to you. So the Empress card, is about nourishment. The Empress card is about nature. We have leaves over here. It's about, this to me, the first thing I think is soul, right? Her soul energy is first, okay? So you need to nourish your soul and your emotions and your body. So this might mean taking long baths, okay? Ooh, my favorite bath is you put some sort of like waterfall music on YouTube or a, like some sort of forest sounds on YouTube for meditation. Like Google that, will come right up. And then listen to that while you're in the bath. Put some herbs in the bath. Maybe get some crystals to like meditate with when you're in the bath. Put some herbs in there, essential oils, all sorts of things. Like that's a very nourishing Empress thing to do. And I don't know why that was coming to me to tell you guys that, but you need to start doing things like that and taking time for yourself and maybe closing the door on your responsibilities. If you have kids, people that are like always wanting you to do this and do that and yada yada yada, or some of you, I'm feeling this strongly, you have needy friends that always want you to like go do stuff with them constantly and go do this and do that and da 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 da, and what's happening is you're having no time for yourself and you need more time for yourself, especially doing fun, creative, quirky things that literally don't make sense and aren't to achieve a goal, right? Like knitting sock puppets. There's a good idea. That's not going to achieve any goals, right? So that would be really like therapeutic and relaxing because it's going to allow your body and your brain and your mind to like rest. And I'm not saying that you need to knit sock puppets, but maybe take up something like painting or a coloring, those coloring books that they have at the store that are fun with some crayons or markers or something. Just something that literally doesn't require you to do any thinking, striving, or struggling and holding up the world. Just something for you. Just something fun and creative. And it would be even better, super bonus, if you do it in nature. That's going to help you even more. All right, so the next card that I pulled for you is Hope. Hope is always there, even if we can't see it. Optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive one. Okay, so you don't have to constantly like be in this darkness here and be sad and just like feel alone and like you can't receive what you need. Like there is hope. Your creativity is a doorway into deeper light. Nature is a doorway into deeper light. And the next, surrender to effortlessness and surrender to the beauty of the natural world. I feel so strongly that doing some sort of thing in nature would help you a lot. Or multiple baths. If you can, like an hour from where I live, there's a river and I can go get in the river. Like something, especially if you could like lay on rocks, lay on the grass, be in the water somehow. I feel like that would help you all immensely. Surrender to effortlessness. When you're in the water and you're like feeling the water go over your body and you're feeling the rocks underneath your feet, then you're in this state of effortlessness and kind of like relaxation, which is going to rejuvenate your heart and your energy, because I feel like you're depleted and you may even have adrenal exhaustion. If you don't know what that is, just Google adrenal exhaustion and you can learn all about it. But I don't want you to like stay in adrenal exhaustion and stay on your head about reading about it for 45 minutes, which is what you would normally do. Okay, you know what? Don't even Google adrenal exhaustion because then you'll do that. You need to be in your body more. So, volunteer at the animal shelter. Go spend time with the dogs. Get a kitty. Borrow somebody's kitty. Spend time out in nature. Just be in that effortless flow of nature, of things just like moving and flowing and gently, okay? All right, and the next card is Larimar, Sensitive Emotions, Times of Heightened Emotions and Sensitivity Call for Extra Self-Care and Gentleness. So here we go again. Self-care, gentleness, okay? That's really going to help you all immensely to sort of like calm down this constant going and doing. And the crystal that I chose for this pile before looking at the cards is amethyst, okay? Amethyst is about tapping into your spiritual nature, your higher self, okay? This reading, which is what your future self wants you to know. So really, you need to do things that nourish your soul. That's what I'm getting from this. You're not doing things that nourish your soul, and then, you're frustrated and you're out of your body and you're not grounded. I do feel like getting a Reiki session would be a really good idea for you all. So if you all are into that, you should do that. I also obviously do energy sessions. If you want to book one with me, you're welcome to do that. But you've got to start making a concerted effort to make time and space for your heart energy, your spiritual energy, being in nature. So I think that perhaps doing something like every day I'm going to have these 30 minutes to myself. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if the world's burning down. Everybody needs to be on chill. Put your phone on silent and go do something for yourself for 30 minutes. And have some sort of self-care ritual and routine that you do every single day. Or like every Sunday, like you guys, I do like nothing on Sunday, right? Sunday is my whatever I want to do day. Sunday is my self-care day. So, something like that, setting aside a space in your day, in your life, that this is your time, okay? Even if you need to tell other people, hey, take care of this for me for a few hours from this time to this time on Sunday, I'm AWOL, everybody leave me alone. You need to do that in order to like re-nourish your soul, because I'm feeling like you're disconnected from what really matters to you and what is important to you and what your values are, because you're constantly going and doing all of the time, and you are the one who gets to break that cycle. All right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this reading. If you have a friend who you think would like a pick a card reading, send them to this video, because I think it'd be fun if we all do pick a cards together. All right, guys, thank you so much, and please like and subscribe this video. It helps me my channel like go up the algorithm, which is all good things. All right, guys, bye. See you in another video. All right, pile 3, let's tap into your reading from your future self. All right, the first card that we have here is the Hermit. And the Hermit is sitting outside, they're contemplating life, they're allowing the sun to radiate down on them, and they're really going internal and noticing their internal world as opposed to their external world. And the second thing that I'm getting from this reading is the Devil card. So whatever fears that you have, I feel like you've been noticing and thinking about your fears lately, but you haven't gotten like very upset about them. You're aware of them, you see them, you're not making it a big fuzzy hairy deal, but at the same time you feel like, I noticed that I'm like doing this thing and this thing and this thing, and it's like I'm doing them out of fear, and I really don't need to do that anymore. Like, why am I doing that, right? So it's helping you branch into transformation, which is what this butterfly is representing here, okay? So the next thing that's coming to me is the Hierophant. The Hierophant card is all about social norms, social structures, doing things the way that everybody says that you should do them. And I feel like you're slowly coming to the realization that the reason why you're doing certain things is because you're doing them because other people said you should, or you just thought that you should do it that way and you hadn't questioned it. And now you're questioning it and you're realizing that it's coming from fear, and now you're ready to walk away. So the Eight of Emotions is the Eight of Cups, okay? So I feel like you're done with things working a certain way. You're done with the status quo, the way things have been and the way you've been doing things, and you're really ready for something completely different, even though you don't fully know what that it could be, right? There's this big void right here, totally in the middle of the reading, and you're like, I don't know what's on the other side of the void, but you do know that the current way you've been doing things isn't working for you, and you do know that it's based on fear, and you are aware of that, and you are neutral about it. The next card coming over here on the other side of the void, notice all this yellow, notice all this second chakra energy, notice all of this like movement and this fire Sagittarius energy over here, okay? So the first card is the Four of Inspiration, which is the Four of Wands. And so what I'm feeling from this card is tapping into your higher knowing, your higher self. So these little lines up here going up, that to me means tapping into what your intuition is telling you, what your higher self is telling you, what your future self is telling you, like what this reading is really going to bring about a sort of solidness within you, and it's going to allow you to bring out success. The next thing that I'm feeling with the Queen of Inspiration, I'm tapping into this card, and see how these lines are coming down from the sky and they're coming into her hand here? That's the first thing I'm noticing about this card. So by tapping into your spirit, in your intuition, in your contemplative state, and just walking away, going on the other side of the void, taking the inspired guidance that's being given to you, and then taking action, because these lines are connected to her hand. Taking action, it feels like grounding this energy into your body. And like you've always been this person. You've always been the Queen of Wands energy. You've always been someone who, in her core, blazes a new path, chooses a new way to do things, and makes it up as she goes along. The Queen of Wands is not interested in doing things the way everybody else is doing things. She wants to follow her passion, her fire, her excitement. And as I say this, the next thing that I'm noticing is that there is a slight contraction that you may be feeling as I say that. Partially, you probably feel like, yes, that's exactly how I feel. I am that person. But at the same time, you're like, but what if this like bad thing happens, right? It goes back to the fear card over here. The devil is what the devil represents fear. What if I do that and then nobody likes me or people reject me? And then I kind of feel you're like, yeah, but that'll be okay. It'll be fine. And then I'm immediately drawn back over here to the Queen of Inspiration. It's like, yes, I should do that. And so I feel like in your mind, you kind of maybe do that circle a little bit. And it's time to bring that energy all the way through the body so that you can actually create the change and transformation that you're looking for. So tapping into, how do you want to do things? What is authentic and true for you? Like, if there were no rules, how would you do this thing? For some reason, that video that I did like a few weeks ago about how to reach your goals in 2021, it's like a few back on my YouTube channel. That, for some reason, whatever reason is coming through, that maybe you should like watch that video. It's about it, that video just talks about do things in your own way, the way you want to do them, the way that you feel is right for you, and not what society says that you should do. And that's going to lead to success, the Six of Inspiration. So that's going to lead to things working, and everybody's going to be like, oh, look at that. Did you see such and such? She did da 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 da. And wasn't that cool? Right? So you're not only going to be successful because you feel successful, you're going to be successful and other people are going to see it too, because you're putting your heart first. You're putting your soul first. This star right here, it's in the center, it's in the spotlight. So you really need to go all out and put forward your creative touch, your spark, your fire, the way you want to do things, even if nobody actually, especially if nobody else has done it that way before. That's exactly the way you need to do it. You really need to follow your own source, your own inner guidance. And I feel like you already have gotten these ideas about what you need to be doing. You just haven't implemented them yet. Like they haven't fully gone through. You've been maybe contemplating a little bit, but maybe now after watching this video, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's actually exactly what I need to do. Why have I been futzing around? All right, so the next card is Hidden Depths. Something hidden is about to come to light, perhaps a secret memory at the back of the mind. When we expose what's hidden, we become free. Yeah, so the first thing this makes me think of is realizing, acknowledging, and accepting that your true nature is to be more of a trailblazer, to be more independent, and to really embrace, that's the word I'm wanting to bring forth, to really embrace that about yourself and celebrate that is going to allow you to be free. It's almost like I see the shackles coming off of your arms and you just like burst forth, and this 8 of emotions, it's complete. You go to the void, you go to the other side, and you get over here into the 6 of Wands card, okay? It's really going to make things different if you just embrace who you really are. Surrender to your full power. Boy, I just said that. Okay, perfect. Surrender, stress. Yeah, the reason why you're stressed out all the time is because you're doing things the way other people think you need to do them, and you're following somebody else's rules, regulations, ideas about how things should work. You're beating to somebody else's drum, and you need to be beating to your own drum. That's what this is saying. All right, surrender to your full power. You do have the ability. You do have the ability. You have the charisma. You have the power. You already have the idea. You just need to be like, yes, I am this person. I can do this, and I'm over doing things the way other people need me to, and I am going to embrace who I actually am and go forth. And Tiger's Eye, oh my goodness, you guys, I picked Tiger's Eye for this card, and I picked Tiger's and I chose Tiger's Eye for this card, and I had no idea that that was going to match because I picked the stones without knowing the what was in the piles. Great. Okay, Tiger's Eye. Self-confidence through God confidence. Believe in yourself by believing in God working through you. Okay, that inspiration that you have, that really cool idea that you have, that is God working through you. Okay, that like, oh my goodness, I could do it this way, and that would be so creative, and that would be so fun, and I haven't seen anybody else do that, and oh, that just sounds like the best thing ever. That is God coming through you. That is source energy moving through you. That is your higher self. That is a message from your future self. When you get an idea to do something because you think it's going to be fun and creative and la-ti-da, and you're like excited, that is your future self telling you to do that thing. So you should do that thing, okay? I hope that this reading has made sense. Look how much orange and pink is going on here, you guys. Look, we've got pink and yellow and more orange and just a splash of green and a splash of green over here. But yeah, this reading feels to me like movement, claiming who you are and running with it, right? Like fire, movement, passion, excitement. Follow that fire in your belly, and then it's going to lead you in the correct way. Okay, pile number 3. All right, this was a really good reading. All right, guys. Well, if you have a friend who you think would like my pick a card readings, please send them over here so they can get their own reading themselves. And please like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. All right, pile number 5. This is your reading from your future self. All right, the first thing we have is the Justice card. And as I'm feeling into this card, I feel like you guys know that you need to make a decision, okay? I see you in your mind. You're thinking about things in what needs to happen, what needs to change. This moon represents the emotions, so you are feeling as well as thinking about how things need to be different. I see 2 pathways here, so you feel like you can either continue on the pathway that you've been on, or you can choose to make a new pathway, and you're really struggling with how to move forward. You just know that you need to make a different choice than you have been making. You're just not sure what that choice is. The next card is the Ace of Inspiration, which is the Ace of Wands. And I feel like you do kind of know, like this is your third eye right here. The ideas and inspiration have come to you. You have some semblance of an idea. It might not be fully formed, but you do kind of know what needs to change. So you are aware, but when you think about making those possible changes, you immediately go into this energy of, oh my goodness, how am I going to do all of that though? Like it's so much to do. I can't do this new thing and this other thing that I'm doing at the same time. How am I going to support both of these things? It's like I have a gem of an idea. This is a gem down here. I have a gem of an idea. I would really like to do that, even though I haven't allowed myself to fully think about it too terribly much. I kind of know that that's the decision I need to make, but I'm having trouble because like I just don't really know how I'm going to do both of these things at the same time. So you just don't let yourself think about it and just go do something else, okay, to distract yourself. So the next card is the Awakening card, which is the Judgment card. And I feel like you've gotten to the end of a cycle, okay? So you've been doing the same thing for a long period of time. You're kind of bored with it. It's now uninteresting to you. You really want to do something else. You desire to do something else. You're ready for a new phase. You're ready for like a new chapter. Actually, you might even be ready for a new book, okay? Forget chapters. You're ready for a new book. Something needs to change and be different here. But every time you go in that direction of what the new life could be, what the new vision could be, you get trapped in this like struggle. So you have a lot of responsibilities going on. This is the Ten of Inspiration, which corresponds to the Ten of Wands. So you're already carrying water up a hill, and you've been carrying water up a hill for a very long time. You're over carrying the water up the hill, and it's just not making your soul happy, and you're just tired of doing the same old mundane thing every single day. You know something needs to change. You have a fuzzy idea of what that would be. When you think about doing it, it's overwhelming because it's so much that needs to happen. But at the same time, you're like, yes, but in my spirit, I know I'm done with this chapter. I need to move to the next thing. But then it's like, oh my goodness, but literally I have to wake up at this time, and then I have to do this and this thing, and then I have worked so many hours, and then I work this many days, and my schedule's already full. And how on earth am I going to do that? What I'm feeling is you need a radically different perspective. You need a radically different perspective. You need to think of things in a way you haven't thought of them before. I don't feel like you're going to break through this by taking practical, logical steps. Okay? Like getting a better morning routine isn't going to solve your problem here. It feels to me like you really need to see things, this eye in here, see things totally differently. If you can literally flip things around from a total different perspective, you can then see the door of how to get out or how to change the situation, represented by the wheel. Okay? These are different moon phases. What I get from this card is if you can allow yourself to really radically see things differently and get out of your own way and get out of your box, you can turn everything around. Okay? That will create movement in your life, and then you'll be able to see the doorway of how to move forward. Okay? So let's talk about radically different ways to see things. Let me move deeper into this card. Okay, it feels like you have preconceived notions in your mind about how things have to be, and you see those things as like immovable. Like there are no other choices. And okay, so you have these certain rocks in your consciousness, right? These certain things that just cannot be different. And you literally won't even look at those things. In fact, you don't even think to question those things. They're a given. Like they are what is. But it's those exact things that you don't even look at and you don't even question that you need to look at. Because those rocks aren't actually the rocks that you think they are. A, they're much lighter than you think they are. B, you can move them a lot easier than you think that you can. And C, some of them aren't even real. Okay? So this is going to require you to really think about what are the things in my life that I feel utterly cannot change under any circumstances. Write those down. And then ask yourself, really, is that actually true? What's actually true? And tap into what you know to be true in your spirit, right? Is that actually true? Do I actually have to work a bazillion hours a week? Do I have to do this way? Is there a way this can be easier? Is there a way I can rearrange this? Is there something I haven't seen before? Because I'm telling you, I feel like it's right. The idea and the inspiration, it is there, but you don't let this idea like move past the beginning stages. This is why you don't know how to change things, because you only allow your idea to be at stage 1. You never allow it to get to stage 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because you immediately get into this 10 of Wands energy and feel absolutely overwhelmed and tired and depleted and overworked, and I have so much responsibility, and oh my goodness, like I don't understand how I can do this new thing when I have all this responsibility, and then you just like spiral, and then you just gotta go to work again, and that's the end of that. So if you could just let this inspiration, no matter how silly or how ridiculous the inspiration is, if you could just take that step and not allow your fear brain to take over, okay? But allow yourself to go to, I don't know, step 2. You're going to make some progress, right? You've got to allow yourself to move to a new phase. You're stuck in the same phase all the time. And you've got to allow yourself to move around to a new phase, okay? So you gotta go take step 1, inspiration, see what happens. Take step 2, inspiration, see what happens. And I feel when you get to like whatever step 3 of the inspired action is, things are gonna shift and move, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's actually not that hard. And a couple of these rocks, a couple of these water things I've been carrying up the hill, I actually don't need to be carrying that. In fact, I was carrying 8 gallons a day. I really only need to be carrying 3 gallons, okay? It's literally gonna lower your burden load, but in order to do that, you're going to have to allow yourself to do something that your ego is gonna think is ridiculous. Take that inspired action and see what happens, okay? Instead of going back into overwhelm. All right, what else do we have? Oh, protect your dreams. Here we are. You are the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. Okay, so your dreams are important. I feel like your higher self does want you to nurture your dreams. It does want you to take steps to allow your dreams to move forth into the next iteration of what it is. But you've got to get out of this 3D, mundane, day-to-day thing that you're doing all of the time and allow the energy to move to the next thing, okay? All right. Surrender to prayer. Surrender your fear of intimacy. Okay. Okay. Ask for guidance out loud, silently, when you wake up in the morning, in the shower, when you're eating breakfast, when you have your coffee, when you have your green juice, when you're on a walk, when you're driving to work, when you're driving home from work. Keep asking, show me the next thing to do. Show me the next thing to do. All right? Show me the creative thing that's going to allow me to shift my perspective. Ooh, great question. Hey, higher self, future self, show me how to literally alter my perception of my reality. Show me these rocks in my consciousness that I can't even see so I can see them totally differently. Okay? Ask for help. Surrender your fear of intimacy. Okay. So, what am I getting from this card? Allowing yourself to let go of the rigidness of your day-to-day reality, because this energy is just, it's like rigid, okay? It's just not moving. If it feels to me like allowing this rigidness to fall away a little bit is going to make you a little bit vulnerable, which is why you immediately run back in your shell. And you don't think that you're running back into your shell. Like, you don't really see it that way. You just see it as, oh, I'm stuck and all these things are like making things hard for me. But really what's happening is that every time your shell opens a little bit, you're like, you're freaked out. You're like, oh my God, too much intimacy. Can't deal with this. What if I can't let too many people in? This is too much. Back in turtle shell. Okay, which just makes this pattern repeat like over and over again. Okay, so you're gonna have to allow yourself to surrender to being a little bit more, maybe looking silly, maybe going out there, maybe doing something you're worried other people might think of you in a certain way, in order to allow yourself to follow what your divine intuitive guidance is, because that's the only way you're going to get this pattern to shift, and you're going to start to see things differently and realize that this whole I've got to carry 18 gallons of water up the hill every day is actually not true. Okay, your ego thinks this is true, but your spirit knows it's a bunch of bullshit. Next card, Yellow Jasper. Control issues. Utilize your God-given strength and power instead of fearing that others may try to control you. Okay. What I'm feeling from this card is that from your perspective, because you feel so like rigid and stuck, it feels like your circumstances and responsibilities are what's trapping you. And like, it's like control coming from outside. But really, really, you're the one that is keeping you in that box, okay? It's not other people, it's you. And you just have to allow yourself to drop those walls a little bit, okay? Lower the walls slowly. It's fine. Take some of the alligators out of the moat even, okay? Like it's gonna be fine. And you really need to like trust yourself. You do have the power to change things. You do have the power to change things. And this citrine here, which is very second chakra energy, okay? You do have the power to birth something new. You can bring it into creation. You're probably going to choose to bring it into creation slowly because you are a little bit scared. But dear Lord, better to get started now than to continue to stay in this Ten of Wands energy, okay? So if you're feeling like overwhelmed, so many responsibilities, you don't have to keep carrying all the gallons of water up the hill every day. You can actually set some of them down. I'm not saying you should let go of all your responsibilities overnight, but what I am saying is things are not as hard or rigid as you think that they are. There are other solutions to these problems. There are other ways of doing things that will shift and change things, okay? But you've got to let yourself not get freaked out when you start to let down your guard a little bit and let other people help you, okay? And you know you need to make a new decision. It's clear. You know, you've probably known for a while. You've probably known for some months. Okay? All right, guys. Pile number 4. This is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a friend who you think would like a pick a card reading, please send them over here so they can get their reading as well. And please like and subscribe. It helps my channel so much. And I'll see you all in another card video. Bye, guys. Okay, pile number 5. This is your reading of what your future self wants you to know. So the first card that I have here is the Lover's card, and the second one is the Ace of Emotions. So when I move into this, I feel like your emotional body, your emotional life is your primary focus, and it is so very important to you. So art and beauty, music, having your space set out in a very like harmonious and beautiful setting is extremely important to you. Tapping into your true authentic emotions and how you really feel is also extremely important to you. The crystal that I pulled for you all is this heart, and it is a quartz, and I had no idea that we were going to get all these water cards over here. Okay, the third card is the Muse of Emotion. This deck that I'm using doesn't use kings, it uses muses. So the Muse of Emotion, the muse is the essence. So the muse is going to be that spirit of force that moves through you and gives you inspiration. The Romans used to say that in order to create something, the muses had to visit you. They saw the muses as spirits that came and visited you and gave you ideas and information. Okay, so that's where the idea of the muse comes from. So the Muse of Emotions, are you allowing all of your emotions to freely flow through you, or are you holding some of them back? Are you really allowing everything that you want to express to flow forth? Because I feel like there's some sort of stagnation and blockage in the throat. So the Two of Voices, the Two of Swords, I feel like there are things that you need to say that you're not saying. So although a lot of areas in your life are flowing, the emotion is flowing, there's harmony, and you feel really good about that, there's some sort of stuckness that has to do with your throat and really fully expressing things. And what's happening is that it's making you stagnant. There's something else that you really want to bring forth, but you can't seem to get into the energy of, how do I say this, where you know nothing. Because a lot of times when you move into the energy of no preconceived notions, where you know absolutely nothing, in the energy of the Fool, where everything is like new, you are able to bring forth something in its rawest form, because you don't have a lot of preconceived notions about how things need to be done. In fact, you have no preconceived notions about how things need to be done. And you're confused about how to move forward to bring something forth because you're getting stuck in your ability to fully bring it forth. So I feel like most of the chakras are clear, but when it comes from voicing it, saying it out loud, and that is what it is, making it real. When you say something, you're fully making it real. And there's some part of you that's like, oh my goodness, but I'm so scared to make it real. And because you're scared to make it real, that's why you feel this confusion about how to move forward. And you just are just befuddled. You're just like, I don't even know what to do. It's almost like you want to like throw your hands up because you just don't know how to like move past it. And it's confusing to you because I feel like your emotions flow most of the time. You don't have an issue feeling your feelings. You know how you feel. You're very aware of them. But this one thing, however, is really annoying you because you can't figure out how to get past this stuckness, and it has to do with the throat and what you're afraid to say. So I would ask yourself and journal on, what am I afraid to speak? What am I afraid to make real? What am I afraid to birth forth? And then also the Fool card. If I knew nothing and had no preconceived notions, right? How would I do it? If I could just literally paint a canvas and do it any way that I wanted, how would I do it? What would I do? What would I say? If I could speak this into reality in any way, how would I speak it into reality? I almost feel like there might be so much emotion here, and it's so much emotion that sometimes it might be hard for you to put it into words or speak it or actually like get it out. So it might be useful to write it out or type it out or somehow to kind of move the energy even more. So the Muse of Inspiration is the last card that I pulled for you all. And this inspiration is the wand energy, okay? It's this fire energy, it's this creation energy, and this birthing energy of utterly bringing things forth. So the water, I feel like it's important that the water and the fire energy is balanced. So spending 80% of your time in water and 20% of your time in fire isn't balanced, right? Feeling all your emotions and your feelings, but only doing 20% action is a little imbalanced. You would probably do better to maybe take up an exercise routine, go for more walks in nature, somehow move your physical body and be more in the physicalness of it and less in the emotionalness of it in order to kind of balance out those energies. When you're more in balance, I feel like it's going to be easy to get the stuck energy out of your throat chakra. The next card that I pulled for you, pile 5, is Wish Wisely. Use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. So if you could just wave a magic wand and have this come forth in any way possible, how would you have it come through? What would you do? What would you say? How would you arrange that? If you knew nothing and had no preconceived notions, how would you have it be created? Let's see. We also did, I also pulled for you all, surrender your attachment to results, surrender to your soul's path, and surrender to receiving support and love. The first thing I feel here, surrender to your soul's path. So whatever this next thing is that you need to do, it feels very important to you, so important that it's almost a little scary. And what your future self is wanting you to know, that it is safe to surrender to your soul's path. And think of it this way. This thing you're afraid of doing, you've already done it, right? If you are going to look at it from a quantum physics perspective, there's already multiple string theories where you've actually already done the thing, okay? It's actually already finished. You're just following a path that the highest version of you has already walked. You know, so what, are you afraid to walk the path that your higher self, your future self has already walked? It kind of seems silly when you think of it that way, right? Like you're right here about to embark on this journey of newness, but really like your soul has already walked this path, and it's like your future self is calling you along this path you've already walked through. Okay, you've actually already in some parallel reality, you've already overcome this issue. You've already moved to the other side. You've already figured out how to balance out your actions and your emotions and not being overly emotional without taking action. Like, you've already figured out how to move forward. Like, this card isn't even a thing, okay? You already figured it out. Surrender to receiving support and love. So if you have already figured this out and your future self already does know how you did it, maybe you could surrender to receiving support and love from your future self on a daily basis. Like, what would that look like? How would that change your life? How can you tune into what your future self already knows on a daily basis? Would you write a letter to your future self? Would you visualize already having done the thing and then move past it? What would you do in order to keep connecting to this energy of your future self in order to bring it into the now? Okay, because it has already occurred from a quantum physics perspective. And then surrender your attachments to results. So you don't need to be overly attached to something happening a certain way and whatever, because if you just follow the path of your soul, you're going to be on the right path and you're going to get exactly what you want. So you don't need to be attached to all these like things that may go wrong. If you just tune into your higher self, your future self, and just tap into that energy brightly, maybe feel the emotions, since you're so good at the emotions, feel the emotions of your future self. How does your future self feel about this? You're probably an empath. You probably have it's really easy for you to emotionally merge with things. Merge with your future self, and then you won't be so attached to these results because you'll feel and know what's true inside your body, and you won't need like outer validation, or you won't need to have this like imbalance and be like this afraid to move forward. So Opal, let yourself sparkle and shine. You are guided to be bold and show your bigger than life side of the world. This has to do with whatever your soul's path is. So maybe you feel a fear about coming out more into the open. You feel a fear about fully showing up and expressing yourself all the way. Maybe it's about expressing yourself more on social media in some way, or letting a deeper aspect of yourself come forth and forward for everyone to see. And it creates this little bit of fear in the body of like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can deal with that. But really, you've already done it. Okay? You've already done it. And if you've already done it, what does your future self know that if you knew right now, you would just like surrender to the fear and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then you could just move forward and you'd be like, oh, right. This wasn't that big of a deal. Expressing myself, expressing that thing I was afraid to express, really not that big of a deal. I was able to step out into the open more, and I was able to allow the doorway to open. Okay? Allow the doorway to open. All right, pile number 5. Yeah, that feels really good. So if you guys enjoyed this reading and you think your friends would enjoy it as well, please send them over so they can pick their pile as well. And please like and subscribe this video. It helps me so much, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye, guys.